Today's video begins with the heartbeat of talent, the echo of dreams, and the unforgettable moment when Alicia Dixon pressed the golden buzzer for one of the most emotional dances in the history of Britain's Got Talent. Before we dive into this incredible journey, welcome back to the channel. This is the place where amazing stories from Got Talent shows all around the world come alive. If you love sensational performances, inspiring moments, and stories that stay with you long after the screen fades to black, then make sure you stay tuned, because today's story will shake your soul. Now let's step into a journey of passion, loss, pain, healing, and a dance that changed everything. The auditorium was overflowing with anticipation. Thousands of people filled the seats, chattering, whispering, wondering what kind of talent would walk through those signature stage doors next. The judges were already seated. Simon leaned back with his usual cool confidence. Amanda watched the stage with a gentle smile. David prepared himself for another round of excitement. And then there was Alicia Dixon, poised, stylish, expressive, and always ready to be moved by something powerful. The lights suddenly dimmed. A single spotlight illuminated the entrance. And then she walked out. A young woman named Eliana. Barefoot. Hair tied back simply. Wearing nothing more than a modest dance outfit. No flashy makeup. No elaborate costume. Just pure presence. Pure vulnerability. She stood center stage, swallowed once, and tried to steady her breathing. You could almost feel her nerves reaching the very last row of the balcony. One deep inhale, one slow exhale, and she lifted her eyes toward the judges. Simon asked the question everyone always waited for. What is your name and why are you here? Her voice trembled, but she didn't hide it. My name is Eliana. I'm 20 years old. And today I'm dancing for someone I lost. The entire room fell silent. Even the audience members who had been whispering and laughing quieted down immediately. You could feel a shift in the air. Amanda leaned forward. Alicia's eyes softened. Simon nodded slowly. Who did you lose? Eliana hesitated. Her chin quivered as she bit her lip, trying not to break down. Then she said it. My mother. She passed away last year. A wave of sadness filled the arena. A low, sympathetic murmur rippled through the crowd. Some audience members pressed their hands over their mouths. Others wiped at their eyes. Alicia spoke gently. You don't have to share anything you're not comfortable with, but if you're willing to tell us, what does this performance mean to you? Eliana clasped her hands together and looked down as if searching for the right words on the floor. She lifted her head again and said, she always told me that dance would save me. She believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. When she got sick, she would sit in a chair and watch me rehearse even on the days she could barely stay awake. She told me that if I ever made it to the Britain's Got Talent stage, she would be there cheering. So today, even though she's not here physically, this dance is my way of giving her that moment. A sound broke in her voice. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't exaggerated. It was simply the honest sound of a daughter who missed her mother more than words could capture. A girl who carried her grief like a silent weight. Simon's expression softened in a way he rarely showed. Amanda pressed her hand against her heart. Alicia gave the most encouraging nod, one that reflected empathy, care, and deep recognition. Take your time. When you're ready, the stage is yours, Alicia said softly. Eliana stepped back into position. The music began, a soft piano, slow, delicate, as if each note carried a fragile piece of memory. She closed her eyes. And then her body moved. It didn't look like choreography. It looked like emotion taking shape. Her arms swept through the air with a tenderness that resembled reaching out for someone who wasn't there anymore. Every turn, every extension, every delicate motion was infused with meaning. She wasn't performing. She was remembering. She was grieving. She was loving. The audience felt it instantly. A wave of silence washed over the room. You could hear people sniffing. You could see tears forming on cheeks. Even those who knew nothing about dance understood. This was not just technique. Not just performance. This was a young woman pouring her heart onto the stage in real time. She danced the moment her mother told her not to give up. She danced the moment her mother held her hand during treatment. She danced the nights she cried alone. She danced the laughter, the memories, the hugs, the goodbyes she never wanted to say. Her movements told a story so raw, so vulnerable, that even the judges couldn't hold their emotions back. At one point she fell to her knees, hands trembling, arms reaching upward with a longing so powerful that the entire audience gasped in unison. It felt like every person in that room connected with her pain. Every person who had ever lost someone felt the ache deep inside their chest. It was the kind of performance that bypassed the brain and went straight to the soul. Alicia's eyes were already filled with tears. She pressed her fingers to her mouth. She wasn't just watching, she was feeling every movement. Amanda wiped a tear from her cheek. David swallowed hard, trying to keep himself composed. Even Simon blinked rapidly, trying to maintain his usual stoic expression, though his eyes betrayed him. The music swelled. The final part of the dance approached. Eliana rose slowly, stretching her arm outward as if letting go of someone's hand for the last time. She closed her eyes, took one final step, and allowed her body to collapse into a shape that looked heartbreakingly peaceful. A surrender, a release, a goodbye. And then the music faded into silence. For a moment no one moved. No one even breathed. There was nothing but stillness. A stillness that felt sacred. Then, out of nowhere, the entire audience erupted. People leapt to their feet. Thunderous applause filled the room. Cheers, whistles, shouts, claps, the entire auditorium became an ocean of emotion. Eliana remained kneeling on the floor for a moment, overwhelmed by the reaction. Tears streamed down her face. Her shoulders shook. She covered her face with her hands. Alicia stood slowly. She didn't speak at first. She simply looked at Eliana with an expression that said everything: pride, connection, empathy, admiration. When she finally spoke, her voice was choked with emotion. That was one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen on this stage. You told your story in a way that words never could. I felt every moment, every memory, every piece of your heart. And I know your mother would be so proud of you. Eliana's face crumpled into a sob. The audience melted even further. There were tears everywhere. Simon leaned forward, voice unusually soft. I've seen a lot of dancers on this show. But what you did just now, that wasn't a performance. That was a gift to everyone here. That was honesty. And it takes incredible strength to be that vulnerable. You should be proud of yourself. Amanda added, your mother's love was in every single move. You didn't just dance. You reminded all of us what it means to love someone deeply. Alicia wiped her tears again. And then, without waiting for the other judges to speak, she stepped forward. You know what? I don't want to say anything else. I want to do something else. The audience sensed what was coming. People began screaming, cheering. Some rose to their feet again. A wave of excitement rippled through the arena. Alicia walked straight toward the golden buzzer. Eliana looked up in disbelief, her hands still covering her mouth. She shook her head, overwhelmed. Alicia slammed her hand onto the golden buzzer with full force. The loud, iconic buzzing sound echoed through the auditorium. Golden confetti exploded from the ceiling in a shower of shining light. The stage transformed into a dreamlike world of gold, shimmering everywhere, floating around Eliana like blessings from heaven. The crowd went wild. People screamed. Some cried even harder. The judges stood clapping. Simon clapped with a rare warmth. Amanda beamed with joy. David threw his hands in the air. Eliana broke down completely, sobbing as confetti covered her hair, her shoulders, her arms, her entire body. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so she did both. She trembled as she looked at the golden rain falling all around her. Alicia rushed onto the stage and wrapped her in a tight, motherly hug. You deserve this. You deserve every bit of this moment, she whispered. Eliana managed to say between tears, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in me. Alicia pulled back, holding her shoulders, looking straight into her eyes. No, sweetheart. Thank yourself. You gave everything today. And the world needs to see this. The audience erupted once more in applause. The confetti continued to fall until it covered the entire stage in a glittering blanket of gold. Eliana looked upward through shimmering tears, as if she could see her mother somewhere beyond the lights, smiling down at her. Backstage, when she finally reached her family and friends, they embraced her tightly. Her best friend cried into her shoulder. Her dance coach kept shaking her head in disbelief. Her younger brother hugged her as tightly as he could. I know she's proud, he whispered. Eliana wiped her tears and smiled at him. I hope she saw that. Simon approached backstage to congratulate her personally. He offered a rare smile. That was extraordinary. Truly extraordinary. You're going to touch millions of people with that performance. Amanda added, this isn't just dance. This is your soul. And people are going to feel it. Even David chimed in with his warm tone, you've already won the hearts of everyone watching. But the moment that mattered most was when Alicia came backstage again. She hugged Eliana once more and said, never stop dancing. Never stop telling your story.